into that. So, cruising as we know it was started by a man named Albert Ballin, and in the late 1800s, he saw that people were boarding these ocean liners that were primarily used to transfer cargo, food, sometimes people, but not necessarily as much. But he saw that people were boarding these ships and going from point A to point B and back to point A, which was not their intended purpose. So he asked, like, why are you doing that? And they said they just loved being out on the open ocean. That was enough to draw them to have them board these ships, not necessarily meant for people, or at least for a luxurious, enjoyable experience on board. That was enough to get them to sail. So he really took this idea and like ran with it. He created the first cruise line that we know of, called the Hamburg America line. And then a little bit later we have the White Star Cruise Line, right, sure, which really elevated the experience there. They added luxury to the cruising experience. They had the Olympic class of ships, which was 3 ships that all had IC at the end of their names. That was the Olympic, the Britannic, another one starts with T, not the best out on the water. But yes, so it was really up to the ante when it came to the guest and passenger experience on board these ships, and then so on and so forth. And eventually Disney has a place here in 1998 when the Magic set sail. The idea of Disney Cruise Line had been percolating for a little bit there, but the Magic did set sail in 1998, soon followed by the Wonder. And then about a decade later, the Dream comes along, and our sister ship, the Fantasy. And now we have the Wish, recently sailing a couple months ago. Very exciting, sure. And recently announced the Treasure as well. So we're just growing and growing, and we'll have one more for the series of 3. So far, we've just had 2 sister ships. Disney Cruise Line continues to grow, and we originally had we dipped our toes into cruising before the Magic as well. We had a partnership with this cruise line colloquially known as the Big Red Boat, where it was like a Disney cruise, where these Disney characters that we know and love, they were on the ship. People loved it. It was a great success, paired with the fact that Disney knew they could do it better. So therefore, we created our own. It was successful enough. But when we had our own cruise line, we could control the food, we could control like the walls being painted, whatever we wanted, you know, stuff like that, like keeping everything up to the Disney standard.
Years of bonuses.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so welcome to Remy. Looking at Disney storytelling throughout this, right? So clearly this is an adults-only space. This is the most elevated dining experience we have on board, but we still want that Disney magic to be sprinkled throughout your experience here, but not like slapping you across the face. Not that this boat does that, in my opinion, in any way. But this is not overloading you with that Disney storytelling. It is very, very subtle. Let's point out some little Remy's here. My favorite being this glass Remy here, welcoming you in with his big spoon, of course. And then on the booth here, all of this fabric, you have Remy's face right here. And then his brother Emil's body there. They're facing each other. And of course a little R for Remy. And even on the walls, this one here, there's a giant brass Remy. You can see his eye, mouth, and nose. And there's one behind us as well, a little more interpretive. I can point it out for you. Just gonna weave through here. Give him a little nose here, smile, eye, and ear. I've heard this has made its way into Epcot, where the new Remy Rad is. I haven't seen it myself. I've been on this boat, but yes. And then on the back, all of the chairs as well. There's a little Remy in the design there to these chairs along the window here. And of course, you see those same flower lighting fixtures that we saw welcoming you in all throughout the restaurant here too. And really, what you see is the restaurant. There's a little room back there that has about 4 to 6 more tables. But this really is what you see. So it's a very intimate dining experience, also very exclusive as well, as you have to book this in addition to your rotational restaurants here on board. But they also have special dessert tastings, wine, cheese pairings. Like they offer stuff that aren't just full meals here as well. This is one of my favorite spaces. This is inspired by Gusto's restaurant. So you have the cheese and the carpet. And then in the movie, Gusto's restaurant was inspired by a theater. So that is why you have all the chandeliers and the red velvet spread throughout. Someone asked earlier what these little stools were that were next to all the tables. Remember, this is a very fancy restaurant, right? So when you have a nice bag or maybe a chapeau or something you wouldn't want to dare touch the floor, you put that on this little stool here, or just like your phone as well. But like we said, this is a very elevated experience. But with Gusto's, two things I'll point out here is, I'll go this one first. This back mural here with this view of Paris, of course inspired by real life Paris and the movie as well, when Remy says that he wants to be able to see Gusto's restaurant from his own restaurant. So just across the river here under the Eiffel Tower, you can see the Gusto's sign there. So I think Remy would be very happy with the view he has from his little restaurant here. And then with this mural along the back here, it is said for a restaurant to be truly of the highest class, and I believe possibly a standard for a Michelin star as well, is that you have to be able to see into the kitchen. So we're on a cruise ship, right? So like configuration-wise, that just wasn't in the cards. But to allude to that, we have this beautiful painting here. I know, it looks like a picture of a painting of the kitchen from the movie Ratatouille. Any questions? This is my favorite space on board. I don't know if you have to like specially request this room, but I would want to dine in here. But if the captain chooses to dine in Remy, this is where they will dine. Here, we have made our way into Hollow. So, Hollow exists on every Disney Cruise Line ship. It's been reimagined for the Wish to be more of like a steakhouse vibe, but the name Hollow is very important and just the tradition that comes along with this restaurant. So it is an Italian restaurant, as you can tell by the decor and the menu, of course. Italian is not a random choice either. It's not just because Americans love Italian food. But we actually have our roots in Italy as a cruise line. So both the Magic and the Wonder were constructed in a shipyard in Venice, Italy. So to pay homage to that, that is why we have Apollo across the whole fleet. Starting with the Magic and the Wonder. And then both the Dream and the Fantasy have the addition of Remy as well. And then the Wish has a bunch of stuff that I don't know yet. But yes. But yes. So with it being an Italian restaurant, you are greeted with muted tones of the Italian flag in this little entryway here. And that continues its way throughout the entire restaurant. Once again, not like slapping you across the face with it, but really just using it to inspire a lot of the color palettes as we make our way through the restaurant. We also have this beautiful hand-blown glass structure here. Doesn't really remind anyone of anything. It can be a little on the nose, as this is an Italian restaurant.
Wine bottles.
That's a good guess.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti! Yes, spaghetti. On the nose. But spaghetti and meatballs nonetheless. Once again, to let you know, if you choose, wine pairing could be a big part of your experience here. This one has all of the wine bottles in little leather satchels that are meant to look like gondolas. And then you have these handlebars meant to open the wine cabinets there, right? Does anyone know what those are called? I've said it as we've been saying.
They're hollows.
They're hollows, exactly.
Oh.
Hollows are the pools in Venice, Italy that gondoliers tie their gondolas to. And that is an example of them right there. The only thing between deck 5 and deck 11 are staterooms, right? There's no restaurants, there's no kids club, nothing like that. So Imagineers thought that if anyone along that stairwell were to feel ambitious to want to take the stairs, possibly it would be first thing in the morning, right? You haven't had any food yet, you're making your way up to your first buffet of the day. You thought, hey, I'll take the stairs. So what they wanted to do was slowly awaken your senses as you make your way up, starting with concept art and ending with fully formed images. Of course, of Donald cooking as well. Cooking with like rubber cement to let you know that you're getting closer to Cabana. Whether that's actually true or not, and if people take the stairs first thing in the morning exclusively, just to say, that was the intention behind this stairwell. And all of the stairwells have different art in them as well. I don't know of any cohesive ideas between the other two stairwells, but they were gorgeous art pieces to look at regardless. And then a moment about carpet. This carpet here, all yellow, is for the aft stairway. So if you get a little confused as to what side of the ship you're on, yellow is aft. And then blue and red are midship and forward. Believe blue is midship. But yes, still talking about art, we're gonna turn our attention to these art pieces here. Where if you like, we're gonna stand around them And see what anything happens when we stand right here.
Interesting.
Right? It's kind of awkward if they don't, but usually they do if you stand in front of others.
Oh, and I'm not one of those thinking.
Goodness.
Yep.
Does it look familiar to anyone, this scene here?
I am.
Exactly. So this is taken directly from the Pirates in the Caribbean ride. And we just protect your seat. This is taken directly from the Pirates in the Caribbean ride, both from Magic Kingdom and Disneyland. And the audio as well is taken truly directly from the ride. It's the same audio that's based within the ride. And of course we have the Midship Detective Agency as well, where anyone can become a detective. And use these magic portraits to solve different cases all throughout the ship. Highly recommend it. It's lots of fun. It's a really cool way. Yeah, it's a cool way to interact with all of the artwork on board. Well, we are here in the Oceaneers Club. The Oceaneers Lab is over off to this side, and there's a hallway known as the workshop along the back that connects the two over. Currently with the doors closed right now because they are having toddler time in there is Andy's room. And then this room is Disney Infinity, an outdated video game. And then over here, we have St. Hollow, where Isabel and all of her friends live. And then the Millennium Falcon. This is here before Galaxy's Edge. So this is one of the first places you can sit and control the Millennium Falcon. It doesn't work the same as the ride. And then we do lots of programming for the kids here as well. That is part of my job too, is to come here and do a lot of right? If you have kids sailing, they can see making space with them here later. But yes, we learn lots of programming here, whether it be bringing princesses in for a story time, making space be like I said, anything like that. Always something going on here in the kids club. So if you want to take just a few minutes. Just admiring you behind walls. We've been learning so much about the history of the St. Cruise line. And so excited. What we like this area, maybe I was going to say, these are all a bunch of Disney characters as different stars.
Just
What is that? We are at sea after all. How fun. I hope we got pictures. That's a great picture of Mickey with Wolf behind him. I love that. Anyway, I decided to not take us to the atrium because we're really busy, and some people mentioned going to the Making of the Dream that starts at 10. So we'll end with enough time for you to run up there. They talk a little bit more about the atrium as well. So we'll skip over that for this right now. You don't have to go there. But yes, I can tell you after. Anyway, so I'm right here to one of my favorite spots. One thing I really like about the four classic ships, if you will, as they will come to be known as, the Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy, is like we talked about from this whole tour, they're inspired by classic ocean liners. And I think this section of the ship really harkens in on that, just with the color palette of the wood here, all of these light boxes, that's a very classic style of design. Even as simple as the fonts on all of the stores here, this really looks like the golden age of sailing. It's a thing that a lot of newer cruise ships just don't focus on as much, and I love that our first four ships really tune in on that, because I think that's really cool. Even just with the marble work here, it is gorgeous. One of my favorite most is to be on the open deck of a great ocean liner overlooking the great ocean on a star-filled night. That is as close to magic as we'll ever get. So I will leave you with that. This has been the Art of the Theme Show Tour. My name is Rebecca. If you enjoyed, I'll be sticking around. If anyone has any questions, yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Oh, welcome. Come closer. Gotta bow. Go to the upgrade. I am the caretaker. The memory of Halloween past. Speaking of the past, you're all here here to see the pumpkin tree, right? I mean, you do know what a pumpkin tree is, don't you? Why? This is a pumpkin tree. It's a very special kind of tree. You see, it blooms only one night of the year. On Halloween! Deep within these dark, gnarled branches, hold the remnant spirits of Halloween memories gone past. Look at all the beautiful pumpkins. Watch look closely. The pumpkins on this tree are not mere pumpkins. Each has a face sliced in it. Each nose a mere nose. Each mouth smiles in a new way. Just a little bit different. Dozens of smiles. A double-acted pairs of fresh-cut eyes. And all from your imagination. But it isn't quite finished yet. It's still missing something. We need to wake it up. And to wake it up, we must create the perfect spooky atmosphere. The best way to do this is to tell a story. A ghost story! And I have a particularly spooky one I'd like to share. My favorite is the legend of Sleepy Hollow. One cold October night, a certain Dutchman named Ichabod Crane was heading towards his home in a hollow nearby. His path led next to the old Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. At midnight, Ichabod came within sight of the graveyard. It was a dark night, with no moon. Only light shone from his lantern. The Dutchman was very nervous about crossing the cemetery, remembering the rumors of a galloping ghost that he had heard. He stumbled along, whistling to himself, trying to keep his courage. Suddenly, Ichabod's eye was caught by a mysterious light rising from the ground in the cemetery. He stopped, his heart pounding with fear. Before his startled eyes, a white mist burst forth from an unlocked grave, forming a large horse was carrying a headless rider. The Dutchman let out a terrifying scream. The horse that told him at full gallop. He took towards his heels, running as fast as he could, heading towards the bridge. As he knew that ghost and evil spirits had impaired to cross running water. He turned, and he saw the horseman, who launched a great flame coming towards him. Ichabod was never seen again. The headless horseman continues to roam the roads near Chinatown on dark nights from that day to this. But luckily for us, he can't swim. Or can he? That wasn't too spooky, was it? Oh, that's enough to get the heart pumping. And now, with the perfect spooky atmosphere, I say it's time to wake up the pumpkin tree. Don't be afraid. We'll call it all together and we shall see what happens. Are you ready? Spirit of the pumpkin tree, the biggest we ever seen. Wake up and talk to us. It's time for Halloween. I want you all to say, wake up. Sit down. Wake up. Even I get through.
Greetings, my fresh faces and innocent eyes. You are all here for fun and surprise. Look at all of you. What a wonderful sight. But don't be scared. I want smiles, not fright. So rise up your voices. Let me hear a loud scream. For that is what is needed to summon Halloween.
Everybody scream!
Your saints and people. Give me that to rattle the dead.
Now everybody.
The spirits are close. This I can feel. Scream trick or treat, and let's finish the deal.
Everybody say trick or treat!
My thumbs, something wicked this way found. Here tonight for all to hear the truest sound of ghoulish cheer. Witches' laughter and ghoulish growls. Zombies, monsters on the prowl. Bring the power of nightmares unseen. Bring them to life. It's Halloween!
It's all over Halloween. Oh, this is Halloween. This is Halloween. It's unbelievable. This is Halloween. Trick or treat.
Happy Halloween!
Everybody!